Hello, and welcome to Demonstration 3 for ArcGIS Pro and ArcGIS Online. Today we'll be going over the Survey123 application. And so the first thing we'll do is, if you open a new tab on your computer and type in survey123.arcgis.com, you'll be brought to the Survey123 page in which you can sign in and access your surveys. You can create a new survey by clicking on Create a New Survey, and the type of survey we'll be reviewing for this demonstration is the Web Designer survey. The Survey123 Connect, which uses XLS form spreadsheets to create the survey, are slightly more complicated to create, but actually provide a lot more scope for the survey to be created. But for this demonstration, we'll be using the Web Designer. So let's get started. You'd have to name the survey. Let's type in test, tag it with demo, and we'll leave summary blank for now. But under normal circumstances, I'd highly recommend spending some time on filling those fields in. Once the survey has been created, you'll be faced with this design page. In the design page, you can add all of these options on the far right tab here. You could insert a single line text. You could insert a geopoint for somebody to add a point on the map. You can insert a note. You can insert a signature for somebody to sign with a pen. You can insert certain questions that only require number formats. All sorts of questions to be added. I'll allow you to explore these at your leisure. But let's go back onto My Surveys and let's open a survey that we've already made. So let's exit this. Leave. I've already made a survey called Gabon Survey. If I click on Gabon Survey on this little pen here to go onto the design, I'll show you what a completed survey looks like. Once the survey's loaded, you'll notice that I have a background here. I changed this by going on the appearance. You'll also notice I have a bunch of tabs here. One thing to note on web design surveys is that you can't have picture questions. That is, you can't have a multiple choice that are pictures and clicking on the pictures gives you the answer. In order to work around this, however, you can create a picture such as this one with options on it and letters underneath. And list of animals, choose animal. Now you can choose one of these letters. If I click on this question here, the way to insert this image is by clicking on this. It is a note. On here you'll notice that the note option is here to add to your survey. You can add it if you would wish. Go on to the edit and you can click onto the insert image. This gives you the option to upload an URL. So as a quick, let's deviate from this and I'll just show you quickly how to upload an image to Arc Online, where you can access the URL from. So let's go on to the content for Arc Online. If we go to the Africa folder that I've created, then you'll notice that we can add an item up here. We can create an item as well. So that's if we wanted to create a feature layer, a scene, or our new map, scene being a 3D map. Or any of the below. We won't cover all of those, but let's add an item. You can add an item from my computer. So this means that you can choose a file, give it a title, and add some tags. You could choose a JPEG from here. I recommend JPEGs because they're a small file size, and Survey123 only accepts file sizes of about 30 megabytes or lower, I believe. So if I scroll down on here, and click on the Africa Gabon survey folder, notice these are two images I've already uploaded. Poop, ABC. ABC with a number of different poop pictures. This being dung, they're my own pictures. Once you've uploaded this picture, you can click on Share, and you can share it with everyone. Click OK. And in order to share the URL, you can scroll down to the page, and down here you have an option for URL. You can copy this information into the URL on the note form to upload a note, save it, and then you have the note, the picture, as a question on the note here. So there's a workaround if that's something that might be handy to you. Another thing you can do on Survey123 is code different questions to appear depending on your selection of certain questions. As you can see above here, if I click on Record Event, you have the option here to set a rule. I've set lots of rules already, but if I click on Animal, then it opens up all of these questions. If I click on dung or poop, then it lists all of these questions. And then if I click on other, there are some other questions that it opens as well. For instance, if I choose other, then I can select other photograph, other, I can select other description. These are questions within the survey. And I can click OK on there, save the project, save the design. Now, I won't dwell too much on the design of this survey, as it's quite explanatory when you come to view it yourself. When you come to make one yourself, it's very easy to navigate. But once this is finished saving, we'll go on to the preview, so we can take a look at what the survey looks like. And then I'll show you how the survey works on your phone. Once the design is saved successfully, let's click on Preview. Now Preview pane appears. We can see what the survey will look like on a desktop screen. If I scroll through the survey, you'll notice that there are only a few questions on here. That's because we coded this record an event to open certain questions depending on our answer. If I click on Other, then I get to upload an other photograph or the description of other. If I click on an animal, then I get these questions here. So I can choose what animal I've seen. I can choose on the assuredness of it, the quantity, upload a photograph, and add a description before I add the date and time, and then select a location in which I've seen it. I can either locate where I am, find my location, or I can type in a location on the map if I already know where it is, that I found it. You have the longitude and latitude displayed at the bottom here if you know any more details. You must use the map to zoom in. The same is also true if I selected dung or poop instead. So as you can see, we've got some poop options. We can select these here or to upload a file just as before. And then we can also, from this preview pane, go on to the phone to preview what it might look like on a phone. Slightly different layout, and on a tablet. A bit more similar to the computer on the tablet. So let's close this preview pane and let's publish this since we've edited it. OK. You can modify the schema, which I will quickly show you what this is. When you create a survey, each survey counts as a row in an attribute table. And if I show you this schema, each of the fields in that attribute table, if you remember, the fields are the columns within an attribute table for, let's say, a shapefile or a feature class. The label corresponds to the question in the survey. the name corresponds to the field name in the attribute table. And then you have some further options such as field length, which is the amount of characters within the attribute table, etc. But that's what the schema is. Now let's publish this. So that publishing is so that the survey updates to anyone who would be using it. We've already had some users submit surveys of this survey in particular to get some data, so I can show you the different options along the ribbon up here. So once this publishes, I'll show you their applicability. If you come over to the Collaborate option along the ribbon here, you'll notice a number of settings. Choose who can submit data to this survey. Everyone means that the public can submit it. They will show up as anonymous submitters. Members of my organization, you'll be able to see the names of who have submitted the survey. There are a number of ways you can share the survey, either by sharing a link, sharing a QR code, or open the survey in a new tab, and you can share the link from there as well. You can also embed it into certain things. But that's where you will share things from. There are also various other options on who can view the survey and some group settings if they apply to you. But the submitter is what's most important in this section for collaboration. Next, we'll look at the Analyze option in this ribbon here. The Analyze takes all of the survey results that people have submitted and puts them into quick tables summarizing each of the data sets. So you could print any of this information, or all of it, if you want. But this Analyze can also be done within ArcGIS Pro. It's just handy to be able to do it online in the Survey123 website as well. So there are all the names of the people that have submitted things. Here's a count of how many times they've submitted them. This is going through each question and giving me certain graphical representations of the amount of answers given for that question. As you can see in the animal count for this to record an event, they're mostly 26 of these have been animal accounts. You can change this to a bar chart, a pie chart, or a map to view where the points are on a map. Now, we can do the same for the type of event, choose an animal assuredness, the quantity. The photographs of animals won't have the summary options available to them because they cannot be summarized quantitatively like these questions can. As you can see, you've got gorillas, African elephants, African forest elephants that is, blue duikers, more gorillas. And if you scroll down, you have the questions for the animal description, choose dung type, dung assuredness, age of dung, and more pictures of dung that users have submitted. And in the other photographs, these might be any other animals that users have submitted. There's some pictures for them. This shows you a date and time of sighting. This shows you when surveys have been submitted, because we have an option on our survey for the date. Now let's go to the Data tab. In the Data tab, we can view all of the surveys that people have submitted. We can view where they're placed on a map, and we can view along here the fields which correspond to the questions and each answer to those fields. Excellent. So if I quickly show you the settings, these aren't really necessary, but you do have some settings here. I won't go over any of what this means at the moment though. Let's go back to the Data tab, and let's open up this map in Map Viewer. Before we do though, you could export this data as a shapefile. The shapefile's attribute table will be populated with this attribute table at the bottom here. It'll be exactly the same. and the shapefile points will have spatial coordinates to be plotted onto a map. You can filter points by different values, so this is some analytical techniques that you can use directly in the Survey123. And there are other options as well, but let's open it in the map viewer. So now we can open it in the map viewer. Notice this is the same map viewer that is used in the Arc Online program, because they are one and the same, but I'd like to open it on the Arc Online service itself rather than in the Survey123 service. So if I go up to the upper right hand corner, I can click on this here, this little button with the arrow pointing outside of a box. If I click on that, then it opens up the map viewer in online on the Arc Online service. From this map view, and before we go any further, I'm just going to show you how to access the Survey123 app. So if we have a view of the phone here, we can click on the Survey123 app like this. It opens up the Survey123 page, and we can click on the Gabon survey. It gives me the option to collect. I can click on collect, and here you can see that I can select somewhere on the map to click a location, etc. So that's how you access the survey online on the app itself. The map may not have shown up here because I might not have set a base map for it to use. But that's the gist. You can also click on a survey link that has been sent to you, and it will open up a survey in a browser as opposed to having to download the map, and an anonymous user may submit an answer that way. But if you're opening up a survey in the app, you have to sign in. So now we've done that, let's exit off of the phone screen. So notice in the WebMap viewer you have this layer in the contents, Survey123, and a whole big string of numbers and letters. That's the layer for the survey points that we have been submitted to us. If we show the table, you'll notice the table from before with all of the survey points on it and all of their answers, 32 in total. Now let's deselect that. Let's go to the contents page. I want to add that survey to a different map, which is stored in my Africa folder. I want to add it to a web map called Gabon WebMap. This is a map I've created earlier on. If I open this map in the map viewer, here is a map of land cover that I haven't finished, but is something I've been working on for Gabon map. Gabon is a country in Africa, by the way, just on the equator. But I want to add the Gabon survey. So if I go on to add and search for layers, I can filter where I'm searching. So I can go onto my content, or I can search the Living Atlas, or my organization, my groups, but I just want to search my content. Scroll down and you can find the Gabon survey. There it is. That's the layer we want to add to the map. If I press a plus next to that, I can go back to the map view. And as you can see, all the points for the Gabon survey have been added. Excellent. Let's take a look at the attributes table to confirm. 32 attributes, 32 points that is, and all of the answers to those points are in here. Great, that's what we wanted. So now let's save this map. And let's open it up, update sharing. And let's open this map up in ArcGIS Pro software. So let's go to Content, click on the Gabon web map, and let's open it in ArcGIS Desktop, ArcGIS Pro. It downloads the item here. We can select it to open it up in the software itself. This will be opening up a web map. As we have done in the last two demonstrations, it will be linked to the online service, so any updates made online can be updated into the software itself and update the web map that way. So if anybody were to do more surveys online, let's go back to the online page, they would be added automatically to this Gabon web map, since the Gabon survey is inserted into the web map. Let me show you that once more. On the contents, once they load, remember, we added a layer called Gabon Survey. Here it is in the contents page. Deselect, select. And so if we open Arc Pro software and open the maps, we can insert the Gabon web map into the project.